I'm Alan Kenny, and I'm here at the NAREIT headquarters in Washington, D.C. Joining me is Jim Fetgatter, Chief Executive of the Association of Foreign Investors in Real Estate, to talk with us about some of the major trends in global real estate investment. Jim, your association, which is commonly known as AFIRE, recently completed a survey of some of your members looking at where money's going. It sounds like there's a renewed focus on the United States. Is that true?
One of the surprising things we found was the increasing attitude about the prospects for value increases in the U.S. We asked the question about capital appreciation, and 65% of the respondents said that the U.S. was the number one place in the world for capital appreciation. And to put that into perspective, that's the highest percentage for the U.S. in 10 years that we've been asking that question. And further put in perspective, in 2006, the percentage was 26%. So it's a mass improvement over a few years ago.
And in terms of where the money will be going in the United States, are we talking about kind of blanketing the country, or are we looking at more kind of top-tier markets?
Traditionally, foreign investors have looked at top-tier markets. I mean, they're the coastal cities, and those are their usual suspects. This year, they seem to be more focused than they have in past years on two of their favorite cities, New York and Washington, D.C. This year, New York was the number one city in the U.S. And was also the number one city in the world. But it was the gap between those two cities and the rest of the cities in the U.S. was greater than it has been in the past. And in fact, the gap between the top 5 cities, which includes Boston, San Francisco, and L.A., is even greater. So it appears that they are really taking a very careful aim at New York and Washington, kind of already to the exclusion of some of the other cities, except for multifamily. And that is a preferred product for them at the moment, and that seems to be fairly scattered.
Now, let's take a little bit more of a global view. What are some of the international markets that are going to be seeing a lot of attention?
The other thing we found this year was that they are broadening their focus on some other markets. Last year when we did this survey, it was almost exclusively China for emerging markets. This year it is, we're really kind of back with the BRIC countries, except we don't have BRIC anymore because the R has fallen out, at least for real estate investments, so we have BIC countries. So it's Brazil, India, and China are back really on the radar screen. And an interesting one that we had not seen ever before was Vietnam.
I noticed that. What do you attribute the rise of interest in Vietnam to?
A healthy business environment, I think, and it's a low-cost place to develop and invest in. And as I understand it, resort development is doing well in Vietnam.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time, Jim.
Thank you.
For REIT.com, I'm Alan Kenny.